We've got breaking news coming out of Memphis this morning. The Tigers men's basketball team is under NCAA scrutiny once again. The school saying it has handed over to the NCAA an anonymous letter alleging potential recruiting violations involving head coach Penny Hardaway. Although it is not immediately clear if these two things are related, but the revelation is coming right as Hardaway let go of 4 staff members on Wednesday. Part of that statement being released by University spokeswoman Michelle Earhart, saying the University of Memphis is aware of the anonymous letter and it has been turned over to the NCAA. That is all we can say on the matter. We hopefully have a whole lot more to say on that matter right now. For that, we bring in David Cobb. And David, I know you're from Memphis. You live in Tennessee. You've been over this story all since the very beginning of it. Plain and simple, what's going on with the Tigers right now?
Yeah, you're seeing Penny Hardaway starting to be held accountable for what's been a chaotic program under his direction. This is his 7th season now, just 2 months away. But as that season approaches, he now has several vacancies on his coaching staff to fill at a time when he is now under the NCAA microscope yet again. So in addition to those alleged recruiting violations that are a part of the anonymous letter, there's also new revelations on the scope of a previously known academic scandal that the university has turned over to the NCAA as well. So this all amounts to a lot of pressure on a coach who has underperformed on the court. So Penny Hardaway is a beloved native son in the city of Memphis. The program has never cratered on the court under his direction, but it hasn't quite reached the levels of success that a lot of people hoped for. And now you throw in a new athletic director, a relatively new university president, along with some of these allegations. And it feels like the temperature is getting turned up considerably here on Penny Hardaway.
Yeah, 22-10 a year ago, bounced in the second round of their conference tournament, so certainly not the success that the Tigers would have hoped for. Is Penny at risk of losing his job when this is all said and done as we go to the future?
I think absolutely. A lesser coach, a coach without the clout in the city that Penny Hardaway has because of his revered status as a former player. A coach without those things may not have made it to this point, but people want Penny Hardaway to succeed. He is a program legend, and if things unravel, there's not a whole lot of winners in that situation. But when you consider the change in the guard of the university leadership, with the magnitude of some of these scandals, along with the fact that they are currently on probation because of previous NCAA violations, you put all that together, and I think it could absolutely spell trouble for Penny Hardaway here.
With today's just landscape of NIL and money being involved in college athletics, is there a situation where you can see maybe that he can come out on the other side of this okay, if he can maybe put it in a situation where everything was done as it should be by the books?
Yeah, I mean, with respect to the allegations of recruiting misconduct and a $30,000 payment to acquire a player, a $60,000 payment to secure the commitment of another player, these are things that are alleged in the anonymous letter. With respect to those things, in this day and time, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of public outcry over that with what some of these players are making in NIL. And now that we have revenue sharing coming as well, I don't think it's those things that necessarily would be his ultimate downfall. But then you put in the academic misconduct, where you have 4 players alleged to have been participating in this academic fraud last season. You add that to the recruiting allegations, along with some of the other missteps and general chaos that have been part of the program. And I think it's the accumulation of factors here, and maybe not one smoking gun per se, but just a mounting level of evidence that suggests Penny Hardaway doesn't have full control of this Memphis basketball program.
Is there a correlation between these allegations and Penny firing his 4 coaches?
That's a fair assumption to make. Just Wednesday, the school announced, and Penny Hardaway put out a statement about the departures of these 4 assistants. And that came after 5 other staff members were shown the door earlier during the offseason. So now you have a situation where there are 9 staff roles changing hands, and a lot of those are coming fairly late in the offseason. So Penny Hardaway has hired former Indiana and Detroit Mercy coach Mike Davis as an assistant. But here we are less than 2 months out from the season opener, and he still has several roles to fill. And I think it's fair to infer that some of the departures we learned about this week do have some correlation to the alleged violations that we've learned more about.
Yeah, certainly a lot of things to be figured out in Memphis, and we'll be paying attention closely for someone of the stature of Penny Hardaway to see what happens not only with his program, but with his job status moving forward. David Cobb, thank you so much for tapping in with us and being all over this from the beginning. And we are always all over college basketball with the podcast, Eye on College Basketball. Gary Parrish and Matt Norlander covering all the things on the hardwood for you. Make sure you tap in, like, and subscribe to get that audio listening.